Ready to soundtrack your summer? With Red Bull Summer All Day Play, you choose a playlist that fits your summer vibe the best. Are you a festival fanatic, a deep-end DJ, a road dog, or a trail mixer? Just add a song to your chosen playlist and put your summer on track. Red Bull Summer All Day Play. Red Bull gives you wings. Visit redbull.com/brightsummer ahead to learn more. See you this summer.
Now at McDonald's, a McDouble is $2.50, so you can get your gym gains on. Or just get lunch for only $2.50. Get more value on the under $3 menu.
Limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher for delivery.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
How the devil are you, chaps?
Yeah. All right. How are you?
Good.
Not bad.
Well,
Yeah.
you had a hug, Dom.
I could take a hug, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Who's going to say no to a hug?
Right.
Hugs. Is there a
not
new
this guy.
iOS emoji thing that does that?
No, I think there's a no touching rule. No touching. No touching.
Oh, whoa. It's not going too far.
Shame, isn't it?
No, I buggered my back, but it's getting better, so.
Oh, what?
How did you do that?
Just doing nothing, but just general.
Old age.
Yeah,
Just not dying.
age.
Not dying. I've had that. I got a new pair of shoes and I can't tell if they're squeaking or my feet are squeaking.
Could be both.
Yeah, could be.
Maybe you're squeaking.
I've not recorded for ages.
No, I know.
I feel like a different person since we last recorded.
I bet you do. And we'll come to it, buddy. We'll chat about it on the episode. You making your next movie. Robin and the Hood. All right, I'll just dive in.
Well, that was a great episode, everybody.
Yeah. Good chat, everyone. Good chat.
Everyone, for picture, first positions, everyone, yo, go!
And action! Hello and welcome to episode, I don't know what number, of the Filmmakers podcast. This is a podcast where we talk
Filmmaking?
from indie film. Was that a question? From indie film to studio films and
Everything in between.
how to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to.
Fuck them up.
Very, very humble opinion. This is the business of film, ladies and gentlemen. This is, I believe, the fourth version of the business of film. That's ridiculous. Feels like there's been more.
Yeah, it feels like there's way
Quadrilogy.
more. That's a good or bad
No,
thing.
hang on.
It's
There
a
has
thing.
been four.
It's a thing.
There has been four.
So this is the fifth.
Part 5. Basically, these are the episodes where we can dive in, we can have a laugh. Stephen can give us some amazing knowledge from his fantastic brain.
Knowledgeatorium. Yeah.
All about filmmaking, and we can dive into some of those questions. You get to know more about us and the life around of what we think about filmmaking. It didn't make much sense. I've been filming all day. I'm tired, but it'll make some sense. I might re-record that later.
Wow.
I think we all make
That
sense
was
in the
exactly
edit. I think that's the why editors are the most underrated people, even if we laud them.
Yes.
Amazing.
That's the important bit. Also on this podcast, this episode, we will be talking about the SAG Strike, what it means for independent filmmakers right now, because the SAG Strike is over, gentlemen. Yay! Or is it? Yay.
Yeah,
Yes, it
it's
is.
ratified, asterisk.
Terms and conditions apply. Terms and conditions apply.
So we're going to chat about that very soon. So listen, let's introduce our wonderful team that we've got today. We have Dom Lenoir, primo host of the Filmmakers podcast. He's a director, writer, and a producer. He's directed 3 films, including Winter Ridge, which starred Ted Lasso's Hannah Waddingham, who at the moment is starring on Marks and Spencer's billboards for Christmas.
She's in every Christmas ad ever made this year. It's hilarious. It's like they didn't check.
For her.
Sponsored by
It's
Winter
that,
Ridge.
Yeah.
They didn't check. They didn't check this Hannah Waddingham.
Well, I've got a friend who we recorded a Christmas special with her much earlier in the year and was already sick of jingles by about May or something like that at the Palladium, or one of the theatres, Coliseum maybe. So yeah, there is more to come, I imagine.
I managed. She'll be doing Panto somewhere. She's amazing, singing her heart out. Dom has also produced soundtrack to 16 When the Screaming Stops, I Love My Mum, and the upcoming The Unreason. Dom Lenoir, everyone.
Oh, thank
Hello.
you. Hello.
How's your back? You back for good?
Getting
Take that,
back
Stan.
on top.
Track?
Yeah,
Back on top?
You made a rod for your own back there, Dom.
I feel like back on track's like a better way to say that.
Are these just bad jokes because he's hurt his back?
Yes, correct.
Okay, good. Just checking.
Good. Just so you know, if people haven't been listening to the podcast, they're not up to date with Dom's back
Chat.
back chat. Yes, that was what was happening before. Now it's back chat. So yeah, hopefully you're okay. You're okay?
I'm good. Yeah.
Good. All right. Also joining us is Phil
Whoa.
Hawkins. I know. He's a writer and producer. But he's mainly a director of films such as The Butterfly Tattoo, Being Sold, The Last Showing, which starred Emily Barrington, Four Warriors, his fan Star Wars film, Origins, or Star Wars, Origins. We both love a colon, don't we, Phil?
It's not, the less we talk about colons, the better.
We do like a colon.
Especially with Dom's back.
Do we all get a body part to talk about? Because I can't wait to find out what my one is.
Yeah, you need one. That Star Wars Origins has over 2 million on YouTube. Has it gone up to 3 yet, Phil?
No, it's on 2 point something last time I checked. So, hit refresh, everybody.
Yeah, hit refresh, get them up to 3. It's an amazing, amazing short. If you've not seen that, do. Phil did an amazing job and his team. And his feature film, Prancer, A Christmas Tale, was on last Christmas, which I imagine will be on again this Christmas.
Yeah,
Phil.
it'll be all over. It's still there. So,
Still there. So check that out.
Watch again.
Prancing around. Is it reindeer? Yes, there's lots of them. He's also just finished his latest feature film, Robin and the Hood, which is announced very recently in the trades, starring Naomi Harris and Gwendolyn Christie.
Hey, it's so nice to talk about. I was waiting for whether you'd include it in the intro because that's the first podcast intro of it. So everyone can get bored of it next time I get introduced. It's nice. Nice the cat is out of the bag cast-wise, which is lovely, and it's nice for it to be
Robin
in
is
the
out
trades
the hood,
and stuff.
say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Very, very exciting. I'm in post at the moment. So the edit suite is my life for the rest of the year. But it's shaping up. It's shaping up well, I think. Hopefully.
But it's gone well, though, Phil. You're happy with the shoot? Because and obviously we'll go a full episode into the Robin and the Hood anyway. And on the Christmas special, I'm sure you'll talk about it a bit as well. But you feeling good?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm in the out of the pain of hating life choices. and then a week later you go, well, that was amazing. I can't remember anything that went wrong, which makes us want to do it again. Very challenging shoot, very ambitious shoot. Never enough time and all that stuff. But, I managed not to get any kids poking their eyes out, seeing though at one point I had 50 kids plus with horses and swords fighting each other. So
the horses were fighting the kids.
The horses were fighting the kids. Yeah.
Right. I see the issue.
They fight the swords.
Yeah. Ridley's got nothing on me. There's some pretty crazy sequences, of which were a lot of fun to shoot. So now in the edit, doing my director's cut until early December, and then I show the bigwigs, and then
which is me.
Yeah, of course. Sneaky previews.
Yep.
Giles does have a wig, if anyone.
I do have a big wig. Yep.
Man, so it's good. No, I'm happy. I'm hoping it's a good one. So I'm excited for people to see
I'm
it.
pleased you're happy. And ladies and gentlemen, you can see on his face, he's got this little curled up smile. You know that smile that you feel satisfied with something. And if you're in the edit, you know what it's like.
I feel very blessed and very lucky to be working and having shot something and in post right now.
Congratulations, man. It's hard. It's really hard to get a film off the ground. It's hard to make it any good. It's really hard to shoot it. And also the fact that you're in the edit and not regretting all your life choices is we shouldn't throw that away. Not that we are, but I just wanted to be a slightly serious voice for a second to go, good on you. That's really hard.
Thank you,
so
man.
I'm impressed.
Look,
Well, I'm certainly not going to be the serious voice.
I'm drinking my own Kool-Aid until the studio sees it, and then I'll be crying.
Yeah.
So, it's all good.
Well done, Phil. It's very exciting. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait.
Thank you.
And also joining us, because this podcast is already 3 hours long, is Stephen Follows. Stephen is an established data researcher. You've heard his wonderful voice already. His work has been featured in so many publications, the Times, the New York Times. He's been constantly asked for his opinion. And you can find so much more information on stephenfollows.com, where it's full of facts on filmmaking, pages and pages of all these figures and the stuff we talk about here. There's so much more on stephenfollows.com. Go check it out. Link to that is in the show notes. He's been nominated for a BIFA and longlisted for a BAFTA, and he produced over 100 short films.
Yeah, quite
2 features.
Far too many. But I also haven't, like Phil, I have a new job that I actually started in April, but forget to update my bio. I am officially a Guinness World Record adjudicator for stupid movie records.
No way.
What? I am indeed. The book that's just come out, I did some work on that, not a huge amount, but I'm writing 4 pages of the 2025 book at the moment, which comes out next year.
Amazing.
So wait, the Guinness World Record holder for...
No, I'm the adjudicator, so I'm the one working out the records. So I can come up with about 30 or 40 records. But the thing is, there's a guy I know quite well in the States who's doing all the proper records, top box office film and all that stuff. I'm doing the silly ones, like which Bond film mentions its own name in the dialogue most. Which I don't have an answer for yet, but
I was going to say I'd love to know the answer to that.
I know. I haven't.
You've got to buy the book.
Yeah, exactly. It'll come out in September 2024, and it'll be called the Guinness World Record 2025 book. But if anyone has ideas for stupid records, they don't have to be stupid. That's my edition. Guinness are a bit more serious than that, but they're fun records. And so, if anyone does have any suggestions, even if you have no methodology,
that would be like a real test for AI, actually. For AI to, when it gets to a point where it could actually deliberate what a joke was or whatever.
It can do that already, but it might turn itself off if they were bad enough. Yeah. They are pretty smart, remember?
That's true. So that's amazing. Like I say, Stephen, it's amazing to have him here. I'm Giles Alderson. I've written and directed stuff. There you go. I've just come back from Austria. Austria, interestingly, just produced a feature over there. At the moment, we can't announce it because of various reasons, but we will soon. So that news will be coming out to you very soon. But you can catch 3-Day Millionaire, Stranger in Our Bed, Wolves of War, The Dare Drink on Amazon, Prime, Hulu, around the world. If you fancy, if you want to. Watch all our films, by the way, if you haven't. If you're listening to this, do support us. Come on.
I mean, don't watch mine. It's fine. You can just go for a walk, have some spare time.
Watch mine.
Call your mum. Just anything else, really.
Okay, fair enough. That's yep, good for you. So let's get to it. This is the episode where we talk about the business of film, facts, figures, and obviously we try and get through it without derailing ourselves with our own funniness and hilarity and brilliance, obviously. But for now, we thought we had some topics. We discussed these topics of what we should do. But first of all, we should discuss what's happening with the Writers Guild of America and the SAG strike. Obviously, we know the Writers Guild of America has officially said they've agreed to the terms. Does anyone know if they've actually signed? No. Shaking the head.
I don't think they have yet.
No, I don't think they have either.
I think everyone's been able to go back to work on the assumption that
they've press agreed it.
The press agreed it. Yeah, well, if the press did, that's
fake news.
Exactly, it's true. But no, I just felt funny about that because everyone's going, oh well, strike's over, and it kind of is because they've agreed, but nothing's in writing, and that just made me go, oh. And I was speaking to a writer friend who writes on big TV in the UK. And he didn't know that they hadn't signed. He went, oh, should I not be writing? I said, no, of course you can. If the agents have agreed and the studios have agreed, of course you can, if they're all going to play ball. But if it's not signed, just made me, it's like...
Isn't this just about lawyers' billable hours now?
Well,
we'll take a few, we'll write some stuff.
There's going to be like a long set of backward and forward on like the minor T's of the points and like how long it lasts and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if they're saying go ahead, then it's over. So, I mean, that's...
Okay. Good. I want to give a shout out to our main man, Rob Ayling.
Rob Ayling.
Rob Ayling.
That's his theme tune. No, it should be it should be in the Batman theme, shouldn't it?
He should. He deserves his own theme tune. He is a brilliant filmmaker. He made the Batman fan film short, which is really great. Check that out. And while you're checking that out, why not check out his latest film he's trying to make called Punching Bag, and it's on Greenlit right now, the ACE crowdfunding platform. He has raised 15% so far of a £20,000 goal. It's a short film drama about an amateur boxer battling his demons as well as his opponent in what could prove to be the fight of his life. Go support.
And he's shit on film, so so that's exciting.
Yes,
and I mean, I've heard a lot about it from Rob, and it just sounds like a great project. So go check it out.
Link to that Greenlit campaign called Punching Bag for Rob Ayling is in the show notes.
There we go,
gentlemen. Shall we talk about the SAG strike that has just finished?
Yeah.
So, just a rundown of the 6 things that actors got in the new contract. There's more than this, but here's the 6 main ones we've pulled out. Minimum compensation increases. So, performers get an increase on their minimum payments. They will get streaming bonuses. There'll be a disclosure of viewership stats. Limits on the artificial intelligence There'll be a minimum number of background actors that will be on union terms, and relocation bonuses have increased. The strike is over. Correct? Am I correct? It's not going to change. I'm not going to jump back and like Christmas when I was promised presents and didn't get the ones I wanted. Is it going to be like that?
Yeah. You may have to let that go, Giles. That may have been a while ago.
I won't let it go. Because it was a Luke Skywalker figure, and Phil knows this. Mm-hmm. And actually, my family did get it for me about 6 months ago. They heard the story.
You haven't shut up about it since.
Hang on, but was it like a vintage toy?
Hang on,
here it is.
Oh, look!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's still in the packet.
It's still in the packet. Luke Skywalker. Blue sword.
Oh, look at him! That is a very good. I like it.
Thank you to my family. 37 years later, you can't see it. It's amazing.
I should say, in case any of you think that I have suddenly just started to die on this podcast, this section about the strike is we're cutting in. We recorded this only a day or so before you're listening to this because the strike only just recently finished.
Yes,
and Giles has loads of queued up, and I've got a cold, so it's not that I've suddenly on death's door and then improve for a later feature, which would be I can't do impressions. This is not my sultry post-strike voice.
No, basically, we recorded the whole episode, then the strike ended because we did a section about it and hoping it will end, that we'll never see the light of day. So we're jumping back in on a Sunday for you just to talk about the SAG strike and what it means. So Stephen sounds like he's been deep-throated with some sort of iron or... Don't know what happened, Stephen.
I've just had a cold. I mean, like that's a much more vicious, dark.
Okay,
Giles' mind's going. Yeah,
Giles turned into a Fincher for a moment, and this is the 500th time we recorded this segment, and we're all losing our voices and minds.
Yes, it was me. I've certainly turned into Fincher, and if you haven't listened to that Fincher episode, listen to it.
Segue.
Look at that.
Do you know what?
Smooth.
I wasn't a part of that.
I'm sitting among pros.
Was it a good host on that one?
Hey, Dom, you did a really good job. Honestly, it was a really job. And also, it's really interesting hearing from technical people you don't hear from. And that's the one thing about the strike, which actually is going to be disappointing. Because all these actors are going to come out again and be like, yeah, it was great. And here it was. And I got in work and I did a workout and stuff like that. But then you get a sound designer on, they talk about actually some proper stuff. So
it was amazing, wasn't it?
So I'm going to strike from this podcast until we get more sound designers and editors on it. Okay, that's it.
You won't be hearing from Phil on this podcast for a little while, boys.
Which is a shame because I had a quiz for Phil. I wanted to ask him. I don't know if he knows this off the top of his head, but I wanted him to guess how many days the actors' strike went on.
Yes.
I want to say 119. No,
I want to say 130. No, 130.
That's the first number that popped in my head. So
it's the longest strike that's ever been. So, and I think the previous one, I beat the previous one, and that was 60 days or something.
I think it's 119.
I think it's just under 100.
Well, it's 118, so none of you got it right.
Hey, it was close. Depending on when, and you know, not to bog down the podcast, but I am going to find out in minutes and hours whether it is actually technically 119. Because people round this stuff
let this go.
So,
it's totally not an issue, but at the same time, you're totally going to find out.
100%.
But no, quite a strike. And I think that the deal at the end of the day got what they wanted. One of the things that the Actors Union said was that the protections against AI didn't come up until literally the last day. I mean, the last day of negotiation was a 12-hour day. Man. And they said that what they wanted on it, which is, I mean, the devil's in the detail, but fundamentally it's consent. Consent for actors.
Yeah, but I mean, I've heard accounts that there was a sort of a mild mutiny after the strikes about the deal to do with AI. And the feeling was, you know, basically in a legal sense, if something has room for exceptions, then that is the legal rule. And there's quite a lot of room there for, you know, any of these sort of streamers studios to use exceptions.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to have informed consent, and informed consent is all well and good to say, but if you say to somebody, I'm offering you this deal that includes informed consent, it's like a lot of the actors who signed up to do The Wire had to sign up to all 5 seasons. It's just fairly normal. Like The Wire is just one I happen to know about. And so it's a power play, and I think that happened a lot with things like nudity on Game of Thrones, certainly in the early seasons, where sure, all the actors obviously chose to do it. They all had informed consent, but some of them afterwards felt like power dynamics meant that they weren't getting the free choice to be who they wanted. So yeah, you're right. I mean, how it's actually wielded and in the real world is going to make all the difference. But at least the paradigm is there that you can't imply that it is okay unless otherwise. So you're absolutely right. I mean, we got to trust the studios to use this well.
Exactly.
And who's just assuming that's going to go well.
This is why it's not 100%. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be stupid. I mean, people are back at work, right? But it's still got to be...
people are already back at work.
But at what price?
Well, right. The thing is, it's like...
No, I'm just being confidential.
But some of the board members, I think there's like 80 board members, and a few of them, basically said, and this is where this kind of the press kind of revolt idea of like, oh, maybe we shouldn't sign off, maybe we shouldn't vote for this. I say we're not SAG people, but
we are definitely not.
But but they were saying, well, there shouldn't be any AI, and they were quoted saying that, and you're like, well, that's just silly. You can't. The genie is out of the bottle, or however the expression goes. So
and also you want the studios to be able to do what they do. We want. I mean, it's not that we want to ban something completely. You want everyone to have the free choice. Yeah. And as you said, there was an 86% approval, which is quite high. Although I think the vote to strike was higher. Yes. But it'll go in front of the membership next, and so we'll see. And I imagine the membership are keener to move into a position where they're working again.
Yes.
More of them need to be working.
Totally. Well, that's happening tonight when this podcast goes out. That'll be happening tonight.
Oh God, are we going to have to re-record this tomorrow?
Have to go again and again.
No, but we will do another.
Can you imagine if we had to come back and go, guys? So
we've jumped back in again.
Jumping back in again
to tell you we were wrong.
Stephen is only going to be here using taps and whistles because his voice is completely
Stephen is
gone.
here via AI only.
Oh no, that would be a better version of me, ChatGPT. But getting back to it, so they initially the union were after an 11% pay increase, and they got 7%. That doesn't sound too bad to me. As a negotiation,
but it increases, doesn't it? I think the next year it goes up by another 4%, and so it's kind of ratcheted up, which is great.
Basically, SAG-AFTRA categorized this as a big win, right? They said this was a big win. Let's go through the sort of main points of what they have actually got. And you're right, the first one was this minimum compensation increases of 7%, and Phil's right, it'll go up by 4%. On July 24, and then 3.5% on the following July in 25. So technically that goes up to 11, 12, 13, 14.5%. So that's above the 11%. That's 14.5 increase. That's kind of huge. Background actors also, and photo doubles.
It's double in 3 years.
Yeah. It's double in 3 years. Speaking of doubles, background doubles, photo doubles, that will also increase by 4% and 3.5% hikes in 24 and 25 as well. They'll immediately get the 11%, though. They'll immediately get it. So they're going up quite a bit, the doubles.
It's a shame half of them are digital, but hey.
Yeah.
Finally, they can pay the VFX artists properly.
Yes, finally. Go on.
But so there's a residual bonus as well, which is great when you hit a certain percentage, although there has been grumblings that it's quite a high bar. And there's a really good blogger called the Entertainment Strategy Guy who does a lot of really, really great data work. And he, on his sort of back of the napkin, but informed and rather well-placed strategy, thinks that about 14% of streaming shows of first season streaming shows between 2021 and 2023 would have qualified under these rules. So it really is for if you have a breakout success. And it basically, I think it's about, you have to get 20% of the domestic audience watch it. So on Netflix, that's about 15.5 million people. On HBO Max, it's 10.5 million. And for Peacock, it'll go down to about 5 or 6 million. But if you get that many, so if 1 in 5 domestic subscribers watch your show, then it will go into this special category where you get a bigger residual bonus. So that's great for the breakouts, and it's great for, when you make a Squid Game or whatever that takes off, but that's not for the general population. And because this is obviously of shows that were made and people were already hired. And so again, it's a tiny percentage of the overall membership. So great. And no one's knocking it, but I can see why some people might think that's a little tight, or at the very least, incidental to the core questions.
I can do a very good Peacock impersonation.
Go on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's just like the Sonic
I was ready to be cynical.
Yeah, I know, me too. That was actually
Peacock,
all right.
If you want to hire me?
Yeah.
I didn't want to give you that, but I got to. Yeah, 2 points for you. Yeah.
Peacocking, he was there. And interestingly on that, Stephen, 75% of that bonus money goes to the performer. and 25% goes to a streaming payment distribution to this podcast, to a streaming payment distribution fund. So that compensates performers who are working on all streaming shows, right? Is that correct? It's like it goes into this bonus pot.
The residuals kind of thing. And that's one of the things that is so good. I mean, there are many, many good things about unions. But one of them is that they are able to do that. And that happens with things like music licensing and stuff like that. And so, yeah, that is fantastic. And that all goes into the economy that helps between shows and retirement and, you know, that whole social safety net that the studios and the whole notion of being a freelance actor doesn't give you. And so that's awesome. And I think that means that wherever those shows are, the overall pool wins. It's just, I wouldn't see it as a core part of the compensation for in one individual actor. You'd have to be fairly lucky. A lot of green lights to end up really benefiting from that one, I think.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
They're going to mention the viewership stats, which is very exciting because that's kind of an interesting one to look at how success is rated amongst streamers. Like it's a kind of, you know, mysterious conundrum, really.
And also it's kind of a big thing, a big hand to show. Like, forget this AI stuff. On the other side is like that affects like stock price, share price, the value of a company, the success of a company. Like before, Netflix been a mystery, even though it's like not in profit, you know, but it's still seen as like, you know, one of the gold standard of streamers. For them to then be able to be releasing this information is kind of is an interesting time just for this.
It's nice that the power dynamic is shifting.
Yeah.
But I think the almost immediately, as always, you know, like, I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but when you have your first feature film and you've got a big screening or the premiere and then and it's taken up like 3 or 4 years of your life. And the first thing everyone says to you is like, what's next? And you're like, oh, for God's sake, so as soon as the strike is over, it's already sort of, as we said, over, but not quite, but over. People are already saying, well, this is now actually in the context of the streaming bubble is over. The content crash is coming. You know, they're going to have fewer shows. People have overspent way too much. And the articles have already started coming out saying, look, this is just the beginning of a new era. There's a new paradigm coming. And so already we're moving on to this idea that there'll be fewer shows, as with the writer's strike in 2008.
There'll be better shows.
Well, I mean, the problem is they don't need to be better shows. They need to be comparatively better because people are watching, they have the time they have, right? Evenings, weekends, whatever. And you need to have if there's 20 brilliant shows and then there's another world, there's 40 brilliant shows, you're not going to watch twice as much TV. There's a hard limit. And also, if there's only 2 good shows, you're still going to watch 20 shows. You're just going to complain. So as long as they all act as a pack, then I don't think it's really going to make much of a difference. But yeah, so, and I think that this is part of the paradigm that's changing. There's going to be fewer shows. And as with the 2008 writer's strike, the studios used the opportunity to cancel a lot of expensive deals. And I think the same thing's happened here, where writers who are getting back to work are not quite filling in. They're not being given the chance to fill in for some of the stuff that's missing. The streamers are sort of going, okay, well, actually that's not hurt us that we've been able to cancel a load of shows and have that narrative that, we can't possibly carry on making that. And so I think there's a contraction going on, which is still better than the strike, but at the same time, it's not happy days. All right, let's get back to full force.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, the other side as well is, you know, there is going to be a delay. I mean, there's just going to be a delay of everything, especially the studios. They are going to have the money in the streamers to commission stuff. That's going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to take everyone out of play, and then indie world will take even longer to get back up to speed. And that is
if anyone wants to buy a family action adventure to fill the summer slots.
To Phil.
How are you spelling Phil?
Email me. No.
Have you made a film, Phil?
I don't know. No, I haven't. Never made a film. No, it's all a lie.
Right. Okay. So you weren't quoted by the Independent very recently for talking about filmmaking as a celebrated director with other famous directors.
That was rather strange, and probably will never happen again. I don't know why.
You're gonna have to tell everyone now.
Well, no, it's just it was Adam Driver had that brilliant response to that idiot in a Q&A, and I just sort of tweeted that, you know, people that don't like films and Q&As should just shut their cake hole, basically. And it ended up in the Independent in print. I don't know why. Maybe it's funny. Amazing. Maybe just...
So you're a true indie director, because you're not only that, you're in the Independent. Like
independent.
Yeah, just very good.
Just, you know, you do when you're scrolling, you do a double take of like, wait, what?
What? They put me?
Yeah.
I love it though. I love it. It's great.
Funny. I mean, the only thing it wasn't Phil Hawkins of the Filmmakers podcast. I mean, I need to go back and get them to edit that.
Said Phil Hawkins, director. Unbelievable. I can't believe they've done that.
Giles, this is a slight on you. I don't know how you're taking this so lightly.
I don't know how I'm taking this thing down.
Calm down. Someone calm him down. Send him a Luke Skywalker toy.
Wait, hey, I'll show you it again.
Oh my God. Okay. He's playing with his toys now. He's come back out the pram. It's fine.
What's great about that? It's got its own moisture evaporator. It's so cool. Yeah.
Right. Now, the other two or three we'll talk about quickly is the artificial intelligence, the limits that they're placing on this, and having to get consent from actors to create and use their digital replicas. Right. How do we feel? Stephen, you're the star on this one.
I mean, I think it's an entirely sensible approach. And to be completely honest, I don't think, I mean, I genuinely don't know this as an insider, so I don't want anyone to take this as sort of like hinting at something I know, but I can't think for a second that the studios didn't think this is where we're going to end up. And I'm kind of a bit weary as to kind of like, well, these people have been thinking about this for a while. They obviously know they can't trample over people, but it was a very useful negotiating tactic. It was something that they could very much hold on to, and then they could always give in on it. And so I feel it's hard to get very animated by the conclusion they've come to, because the conclusion they've come to is the sensible one that they could have done on day one. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of annoying to me that I'm sure there's going to be admissions over the coming weeks and months where they're like, yeah, well, you know, this isn't one where both sides lost. This is what we should be doing. We should be getting consent. I mean, they have to in every other area. And even if they didn't agree this, I could imagine the law changing over the next 5-10 years to this be the case. Mm-hmm. Like, and so I feel like it was wielded very successfully by both sides. These people are going to steal our image, and then like, no. Oh, go on then. Well, you've won one off us now, so we should get one off you. Like it's just a bit tiring, I think. But it is important, and they did come to the obvious, sensible conclusion. And it is nice that we are restricting the studios in all areas, because we can't rely on them to use their best judgment, because their literal jobs are to do the best thing for the shareholders and not for the human beings. Yeah, that's what unions are for.
Yeah, so, absolutely. We should set up a union for this podcast. Everyone in say
Giles, you run this. Your management. What on earth do you think we will let you in the union?
Yeah.
Hang on,
you're the problem here.
I've already said I'm striking until we get more editors on.
Oh, that's true. Okay, damn, this isn't working out.
I want a full SAG rate on my
SAG rate. So you're
for
an
the
actor.
record, I'll scab anytime you want. And you and Giles and I can have a nice chat.
You need a pod rate, don't you?
No, we're just going to create the filmmaking podcast, and then we'll see what happens.
Good for you. Good luck with it.
Yeah.
So basically on that, the AI, to finish on that one, actors are basically now entitled to compensation at their usual rate for the number of days they would otherwise have been paid to do the work being performed by a digital replica. So if they agree to it, they then will be paid for what they would get paid to do that work. So they could literally from now on just go, just AI do it, and they get paid for it. And
true, but there's nothing harsher than if someone says like, we could pay you and you could come in and do it, or, you know, as a human and provide your organic and authentic experience, or we really don't want to ever see you. We're just going to pay you and fake it badly. There's no way of taking that. That's not kind of insulting.
No, that's true. That is
we just want to be in a room with you.
Yeah, we'd rather you weren't
here. We'll take a photocopy.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You are such an arsehole.
It's costing us the same, but screw you.
Yeah, basically.
The studios are probably just relieved that this didn't happen during the Lord of the Rings, because think of the 17,000 orcs running over those hills that they will have to pay for.
Justice for orcs.
So, justice for orcs. There you go.
Justice for orcs. Hey, do you know what, though? Food bill is saved on, and, travel, getting them there. That's
a lot.
Yeah, that's your lot. And then a couple others that are also the main ones was you now have to have a minimum number of background actors as well. So that has increased on union. Yeah, a minimum number of actors have to be hired on union terms.
What were you shooting? Moon? You know,
no, you don't have to have that. So
yeah, Phil, you don't suddenly have to put 46,000 people in your movies.
In your one-man movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's relative to the plot.
It's relative, yeah. It basically means they have to be on union rates. So that number that are on union rates has gone up. And it's now the same as New York. I like it your way. That regardless,
you cut to a film. It's just like a really intimate dialogue scene, you know. Yeah. And then there's just 17 people stood at a window for no reason.
57 orcs just go.
Yeah, I was going to say they're all orcs.
And the final one is the relocation.
That'd be awkward.
Oh, nice. And then the final one is the relocation bonuses, or the final one we want to talk about, really, relocation bonuses, which is basically, I like this one. If you have to relocate for your work, you're entitled to a relocation benefit of up to $5,000 a month for 6 months. That's a 200% increase on what it was before. That's huge. So how do we feel about all this? Look, as independent filmmakers, independent people working in this sphere, I mean, we touched on it a little bit.
Tired and jaded.
Well, they're just generally tired and jaded. It's had a massive effect on the UK industry,
Look,
I think this is huge. Government has to do something.
Crews are back at work, and there's been a lot of people struggling, and you know, and the people are right back at work now, and even just last night, it's like a birthday party, and you know, a lot of crew, and people were just back, you know, working and happy, and they, you know, had difficult
times. They
times.
were at a birthday party, they weren't working.
So yeah, you know, so that's great that things have gone straight back in and shows have restarted and that kind of thing. So that's the big positive in the short term.
Definitely.
You tell yourself no one wants your college era band tees, but on Depop, people are searching for exactly what you've got. You once paid a small fortune for them at merch stands. Now, a teenager who calls them vintage will offer that same small fortune back. Sell them easily on Depop. Just snap a few photos and we'll take care of the rest. Who knew your questionable music taste would be a money-making machine? Your style can make you cash. Start selling on Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
I think, I mean, there have been lots of voices from the independent film world who I think have been holding back until the strike's over, partly out of respect for, you know, people are losing money and stuff, but also to wait and see where we end up. But there have been a lot of people saying, okay, look, how the independent world reacted to these strikes isn't ideal. And I don't want to name, and there's some fantastic names that have made some really eloquent comments, and because
Phil Hawkins for one.
Yeah, I don't want to change any of these people by, you know, summarizing their words in a less eloquent way. But there've been lots of significant voices who've raised some really good points to say, look, this should have been a moment of thriving for the independent sector.
Yeah, and it was just squandered. Yeah,
exactly. When the studio system is down for whatever reason, the independent system should sort of rise up and be like, great, look at all this crew that's available. Look at all these performers. Then we've got different deals. We can act differently. We can show that there is a different model, and we should have the support to be able to do that. And actually, that's not what happened for various reasons. And I think that's going to have an interesting ongoing conversation over the next sort of 6 months or so, as people start saying, okay, well, I mean, I think this happened a lot with COVID, right? Everyone said pre-COVID, oh, if I only had some time off, I'd take up knitting or I'd do watercolors or whatever. I'd read every book written by Dickens. And then we've all had that forced time off, and none of us did the things we were supposed to do.
Yeah, but you can't jump on, you know, without the finance to do that, right? And that just shows that we can't in this country, you know, especially. You know, and there was that article recently, and I won't get into a whole big thing because I tweeted about this.
Is it your article again?
No. But it was, you know, that they're saying that independent film is under major threat. Like, it's in decline. It needs a massive overhaul. And you know, Pact and stuff has come out and said that, and it's scary.
Even pretty established, like really established producers that have made like very memorable films that may or may not have won, you know, major awards, Oscars, BAFTAs, etc., are struggling to get those kind of, you know, good level, high level indie films made. It's just, you know, it's just so hard. If they're struggling, like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, there's a great quote, and I found it now because it's public on LinkedIn, so I didn't want to take someone else's word. But Gareth Ellis Unwin, fantastic man who's done a huge amount for the economy and for the industrial
revolution.
Sorry, for the creative industries, and has done so much, and also produced the King's Speech and things like that. And he put a few fantastic words about it on LinkedIn. I just wanted to quote the last paragraph, because I think he nailed it brilliantly. He said, Meanwhile, the UK has pissed away an opportunity to be entrepreneurial during this hiatus, and instead we've waited front step like a dutiful Labrador, waiting for its owner to return home. Well done, Team UK. We smashed it. And it's a fantastic post, not only from what he says, but also this huge number of people that have added comments and thoughts and really interesting perspectives on the whole thing. And I think that it is a missed opportunity. And I hope that leads to us saying, okay, well, exactly as you guys were saying a moment ago, like what was lacking? Because I don't think it was a lacking of desire. It could have been training and courage, but realistically, it's going to be systems, it's going to be funding, it's going to be backup.
Also, there's a kind of there's a feeling from maybe some of the agents. Okay, well, let's see how this pans out. Let's just sort of give up, the actors, okay, maybe we'll take off some time, spend some time with families, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe we're not going to sort of send everyone into indie. I mean, some of them did, for sure. Actors, okay, let's jump at this. There's something that you can shoot next week. I'm free. Let's go for it. But I think a lot of the time there wasn't a push from that side.
There was as someone that was casting, fairly high profile people as it was kicking off or doing. And, I think there was a nervousness of high profile actors looking like they're not in solidarity with SAG, even though that legally they can work. It was just like, maybe I shouldn't work because if I'm working, and even doing indies, the public doesn't understand. You need some idiot Daily Mail journalist to write some, stupid clickbaity headline. Sorry, we're not getting Daily Mail sponsorship on this podcast. I'd probably leave. And, and say like, hey, oh, look, this person's working. And it's just, you just come across as an idiot and no one wants that. No actor wants that for their profile.
Well, I do think there was quite a few productions that did shoot that haven't announced yet for that exact reason.
Yes.
I also think from my side as well, the investors and the sort of mini studio investors who normally would go, yeah, no problem. Yeah. They kind of have this conveyor belt of we will do $1 million to, 2.5 million projects have just stopped. They all went, they all got scared. Everyone suddenly got scared and went,
well, uncertainty is the killer, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the uncertainty of starting a production on day 2, the strike's over.
Yep.
And the strike was over out of nowhere for most of us.
It was.
And so then you
carry on, Steve.
So for most of us, the strike did come. The resolution of the strike did come out of nowhere. And if you were on day 2 of a film, suddenly all your crew might be poached and whatever else. And so, uncertainty is the killer for a lot of these films. And I think that's something that institutions can help with. And that's what happened during COVID, trying to get some productions back up and running, because insurance became the frontier of uncertainty. And so the government stepped in and said, all right, well, this is how we'll add to that and add some more security. So, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but I can't help but agree that it certainly wasn't a moment of change and embracing with the indies, which you'd, naively assume if the studios are having a hard time, you want indies to step up and be entrepreneurial.
Yep.
And there's no one claiming we did en masse. Obviously some people did, but
not enough. Not enough. One solution is this 40% tax break in the UK. It has been mooted for quite a while now. I know quite a few people headlining this and pushing this through. If this goes, this is what the government should look at now and go, hang on, the industry collapse. Independent producers, so many of them have left the business. It's really tough for us. We're all struggling for work. There's no question about it. There's a few of us stepping away for a bit. We're doing what we can because that work is not there. So the government, I feel, has to do something if they care about the indie filmmaking or the filmmaking in the UK. That 40% tax break should happen, and there should be some support for indie filmmakers when things don't work well, and we're the last to be paid, and directors and crew as well, but producers are the ones who are, carrying the burden of the boat, trying to get work.
I feel like we could go into a whole big discussion. Maybe it's a different podcast, but the thing I tweeted
it's
about,
called the making podcast. That one,
We'll see that from there. But no,
for a primo host.
I've always, been saying that there should be some sort of levy on the tax credit that goes into a fund that is funding more commercially fronted film.
Yes,
100%.
There shouldn't be
this
stupid
industry.
criteria of what you can and can't make. You should be able to make what you want.
Again, I know I'm like on record, people saying, "Oh, I hate the BFI," blah 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 blah. But like, I hate the fact, what I hate is the fact that like that's the only place people think they can go to, and that's the kind of elitist attitude of independent film. And a lot of people feel shut out because they're not ticking boxes, not telling the right stories. And I've always said, look, this is a film business, and like we should be making films for audiences and not making films for ourselves and ticking boxes and that kind of thing. And that like, there's some beautiful, interesting films that come out of that, and they shouldn't stop. But there should be a way of being able to fund those and also make films that bring back return, And I know I'm being very general here because there's a lot of complication to this, but in its simplest form is that if we took a slight Blumhouse model, or, there's nothing stopping us hiring Keanu Reeves and sticking in an action movie that's set in Paddington. Like, people would go to the cinema to see
it. Not the bear,
I hope. the ultimate crossover. But
inside Paddington.
But there's the only thing that's stopping us is financing and a way to do that. And
that's what I've always felt like that we really needed in the UK industry is just more support of actually making it appealing to investors, like universally. Anyone can do it. I mean, keep the BFI, keep all those institutions where you can get specific money for specific things, but there should be like more support universally.
Can you imagine if you had like this levy that rate? I mean, I sorry, the stats in front of me, but in terms of there was billions of pounds investment of film last year in this thing. If we got 0.05% of that in a little fund that basically was like, hey, okay, cool, you got your indie film, right? This fund will match whatever private equity you've got, within an AI structure or something like that. And it's like a guaranteed thing, almost like a, then like, you're like, wow, okay, you're being entrepreneurial and bringing us to this, and then we'll match the rest of it. Think of how many films we'd be making. Think of how many actors would be working. Think of how many filmmakers would be getting that shot to make that genre film. And also making films people hopefully want to see, and I just think there needs to be some sort of rebel alliance about this. I don't really know how to go about and do this.
Sounds like you do. You've already created the name. You've got the Star Wars brand to go across the rebellion.
Yeah, well, I mean,
podcast as the voice.
And look, if anyone's listening that has had some sort of governmental leverage or way of actually seriously talking about this, I am more than happy to spitball how this might work, because
me too.
Rishi, if you're listening.
He is.
But like, it's just there is so many talented filmmakers out there that have no shot because they're not making a type of film that someone in an office somewhere is not wanting to make, and it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening.
It's disgraceful.
Totally agree.
And we just, something needs to be done about it. Okay,
the Filmmakers Alliance, let's do it. But it's true. We should do something about it, and we are, and we're doing our best, and we're putting our voice out there. But I agree. Let's do
that 40% tax break, and we're
but there should be
far along.
But I agree. There's so many times you manage to raise some money for a film, and that there's the other half of it isn't there, and then you suddenly scrap and you scrape, and then your actors fall away because they're doing something else, and it just dies.
If there can be whole companies
you're talking about,
if there's whole companies that can make money by cash flowing tax credit and making a percentage, then why can't the government itself cash flow its own tax credits through some sort of levy or some something? Because it's like it's the age old smokescreen of like, we make Bond, we made Harry Potter, we made all these movies and stuff. It's like, no, you don't. You service those movies. We don't have ownership of them. We don't have a share of what those films make. And if we had a share of what those films make, then we'd support more filmmakers, more writers, more actors would get their shot. It'd just be a much healthier industry, and there'd be more things to watch in the multiplex, and that's it. And it goes beyond, servicing big American production and having their ownership, and then just making niche film that plays, within a 12-mile radius of the place that funded it, and we all pat ourselves on the back because we won some awards. But, Mrs. Janine, whatever, that's in Cardiff, sat in the Cineworld, isn't seeing that movie. It's something is wrong, and I hate the elitist attitude of
Cindy World or Cineworld.
Well, actually, I say Cineworld. Are they still around? Sorry,
Phil doesn't go to the
Cineworld. Cineworld hasn't been doing so well since the Barbie movie.
Well, I mean, it's just.
But you're right, Phil. You're right. Absolutely. And let's hope something's happened. I know the team that are heading up this push for the 40%. So I know I'm getting a meeting with them next week, so let's see what we can do. Why not? I'm sure they're inundated and the government aren't that interested, but they are in some way to keep this going. I'd love it to happen. So why not? Why not we get in there and see what we can do as well? So that kind of wraps up our SAG section and what its effects it has on us as independent filmmakers, as you listening. At the moment,
we recorded the whole bloody episode, haven't we?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's like 40 minutes.
Wow.
Thought we were having a quick 10 minutes and then off to dinner, but no.
It was. I don't know who's going to edit this. Oh, it's me.
Some chump.
I could just put this out as a special. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what I'm going to do. This is Charles jumping back in to say I've edited the podcast and it was 50 minutes at least. And the next section was also about an hour. So I'm going to make it not a two-parter because I'm busy this week, but we're going to put that out later in the month for you, probably December. So for now, I'm just going to wrap this episode up for you. Listen, thank you, Dom Lenoir.
Thank you, Giles.
Thank you, Phil Hawkins.
Yay, thank you.
Yay. Stephen, you can say goodbye in your nice voice.
Hello everyone. Bye-bye. Suddenly I'm going to magically come back from
the dead.
Back from the dead.
Back to life. Stephen, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed our Business of Film 5, Writers Guild of America and SAG Catch Up. We'll be back on Tuesday. Go out there, make your films. You can now. You can get your actors on board. And if you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, it's your duty too. You know the drill.
So thank you.
This is the Filmmakers Podcast, everyone. Tell your friends.